Dietrich Bonhoeffer, German Lutheran theologian, pastor, martyr, wrote a short book entitled Life Together. He wrote it when he was imprisoned prior to his execution for his role in being part of the resistance against all that Nazi Germany was about. In that short little book, he encouraged believers to celebrate community, times when they were together, but also to celebrate isolation, celebrate solitude. I think some of his comments here from his chapter in his book, the third chapter entitled The Day Alone, might help us think a little bit about all of our distancing these days. He writes, "The praise of silence befits you, O God, in Zion." He's quoting from Psalm 62. He writes, "Many persons seek community because they're afraid of loneliness. Because they can no longer endure being alone, such people are driven to seek the company of others." Then Bonhoeffer writes, "Whoever cannot be alone should be aware of community. Such people will only do harm to themselves and to the community. Alone you stood before God when God called you. Alone you had to obey God's voice. Alone you had to take up your cross, struggle, and pray. And alone you will die and give an account to God. You cannot avoid yourself, for it is precisely God who has singled you out. If you do not want to be alone, you are rejecting Christ's call to you, and you can have no part in the community of those who are called." But, Bonhoeffer says, the reverse is also true. Whoever cannot stand being in community should be aware of being alone. You are called into the community of faith. The call was not meant for you alone. You carry your cross, you struggle, and you pray in the community of faith, the community of those who are called. You are not alone even when you die, and on the day of judgment you will be only one member of the great community of faith of Jesus Christ. Well, maybe a little complicated, but maybe you can find the book and read it again for yourself. But you see both, the importance of being together, but also the importance of being apart. I'm looking out over the culture, and I'm seeing all kinds of creative, good efforts by people to stay connected these days, even as we know all about social distancing now. I see people at the ends of their driveway waving at each other. I've never seen so many people out walking in the morning and the evening. I've heard of teachers getting in their car and driving past homes of their children from their class just to let them know they're being thought of. And I pray that those kind of creative ways to stay connected continue. But I also pray, and I hope this is the real spirit now of Bonhoeffer, I do pray that we will not waste the isolation that is upon us, that we will not waste what can come to us in silence, and will not underestimate how good solitude can be. Next week, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how we can be people of faith in secret, where Jesus says if we are in secret praying, our God who comes to us in secret will answer our prayers. So next week, I want to talk about a few things I've learned about solitude and meditation, but especially just some simple lessons on prayer, daily prayer, that might be of interest. Hope to tune in with you next week.